Sup dog, welcome back to our channel. I'm here with my niece today.
How long have I known you?
Not too long.
Yeah, not too long. Maybe like 2 weeks.
No, I think longer than that a little bit.
3 weeks, whatever. This is Taylor, whatever. Today we're discussing why you guys suck at dating. From a girl's perspective.
Yo. Oh god.
Fuck, you're so awkward right now. Let me just begin.
Yeah, let's just crack on.
In your opinion, Taylor, what do you think is wrong with the dating scene as a whole? From like, I guess from a teenager lens. Because like most of my audience is teenagers, right? So what would you think is right/wrong about it in terms of, I guess, from a guy's perspective and a girl's perspective? Like, what are we both doing wrong in your opinion?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it really comes down to the people and their situation. I think chivalry is very dead. I think that's died. And
why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think it might be, I think it's just a day and age. Obviously, things have definitely changed from what day and age we're in and what year we're in. Obviously, online just makes things so much more different. Like,
oh yeah,
no one picks up the phone anymore to give you a phone call.
Yeah.
Guys will ask you out like over text, or like they have to like add you on Instagram and shit like that. And
that's such a good point.
I think
that's such a good point.
That's why it's really dived a little bit. And then the people that do actually consider going up to that person, asking them for their number, calling them, going out of their way, it should be a normal thing, but people make it out to be like it's this abnormal thing. You're so lucky that this guy is getting you flowers. When if you go back and you ask your parents, they'll be like, okay, if some guy got you flowers, like it ain't that deep. But right now, it's deep. Like, people are head over heels because of that.
Yeah, like you said before, with social media, especially, social media really just destroyed our social lives. It not only has it made it like better, obviously, because you've made connections that you wouldn't have been made possible, but it's also the fact that you don't want to be social anymore, right?
100%.
It's like it's such like a counterintuitive thing, because why do you have to go and speak to girls when you can fucking go on Tinder or go on Instagram and message girls? Or you have porn as well, right?
Exactly.
Fucking guys are, I was addicted to it as well, but a lot of young guys are really addicted to pornography, dating apps, and use that as a means of their love life. And it's sad. It's sad, right? It's fucking sad.
It is. And
it's so sad.
I think that guys, when they watch this, they think it's so normal.
Yeah.
And then they go into like their everyday normal life, and they think that the shit that they see on their phones and online, they put that into real life. And one of the biggest things that I see in the dating age right now, from girls and from guys, is that no one likes to be vulnerable anymore. And that's why I think chivalry really died, is because, putting yourself out there, walking up to that chick and saying, yo, I want your number, like, no one does that anymore. And I think it's just because people do not like to be vulnerable. And I think we need to bring that back, because it's an emotion that's so real and so true. And, like, what are you going to lose from going up to that girl? There's nothing really that you're going to lose. You might feel, oh, she said no, or shit, she said yes. Like, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah,
to add on that point further, I think not only with like the vulnerability thing as well, but I think guys are just honestly like, well, I was as well. So I'm just speaking like from my past self. I was honestly just really scared to go and approach girls in person, because I was afraid to get like, rejected and shit.
Yeah.
But it was also like the fear factor. Like, what's she gonna think of me? It's like the fear of rejection, right?
100%.
Like the fear of judgment and stuff. And I think that's also amplified by social media, right? The fear of judgment and rejection, because like, I guess, why is that? Why do you think that is? Why do you think social media made it so guys are incredibly fearful to go and approach girls in public? Why do you think that is?
I think it's not that they're... I think social media has made it easier. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
people
yeah,
like to take
yeah.
the easy route on things,
Yeah, I
you
think,
know?
yeah, you're right on that.
She says no, boom, you're blocked, you move on. But if you go up and walk up to them and you're like, hey, can I take you out? Then they say no, you have to physically walk away, you know? And I think that's what people don't like, is that feeling, that vulnerability. Like, it's so easy to be able to add people on and off Snap, off Instagram, text them, call them. But to do it in real life is so much harder. But I think that's with a lot of things. Even just like texting people to make plans or do things like that, no one picks up the phone anymore. No one talks like in person anymore. It's all over just online and social platforms. And that's what I think in this dating age is why relationships are going down so quickly, is because you can't express your emotions really well, like your tone of voice, your like physical actions over messages, you know? You don't actually know what people are thinking, and it's so hard to perceive that because it's some words on a screen. Like, they could mean something completely different by tone, body language, anything like that, and you can't hear that, you can't see that, you have to be in with the person. And that's why I think that relationships really go downhill quite quickly at the moment, at least in my perspective, is that communication-wise, it's difficult, and social media has really kind of stuffed that up for us.
Yeah, I agree. I think what you said, I agree. I think where most like guys, well, from what I've been seeing and from my past experiences, that they haven't even gotten up to that relationship stage yet.
Yeah.
They're like stuck in stage 0 or stage 1, where it's like they're too scared to even go ahead and approach the girl, or they're too scared to even talk to girls in the first place. And obviously, we already discussed this because of social media and stuff. You know, they're not too sure how to act around females anymore, right?
I think that's really been lost.
Because we've grown up without the experience. It's like we don't even know how to act around girls anymore. And I think that leads me to my next question, Taylor. What do you think about vulnerability in guys?
I love vulnerability in guys. I want to hear it all. I think that guys really need to open up a bit more and really, you know, deep dive and tell us. Like, I love that. I love when you'll be open to me and when you'll tell me things. And, you know, that's what, once again, I've experienced this, is what you just don't get to hear. And I don't know why guys don't open up. I've encouraged it in my last relationships and connections, even like just friendships. I really encourage that, because you can obviously understand people a lot better, but then you can also help each other out as well.
Of course.
I'm not sure why guys won't kind of be open to vulnerability and really putting themselves out there. I know it's awkward and there's fear in between that, and you know, people don't like to put themselves in awkward situations, but I think that's what makes you grow as a person, is to make yourself vulnerable, put yourself in those awkward situations, because even if it doesn't work out, you've learned from that and you can move on, learn, and become a better person.
Yeah, I think in terms of vulnerability, I feel like there's two sides of the spectrum here.
Yeah.
And I feel like it all kind of resides back to masculinity and like the spectrum of masculinity. It's like if you're on side left, or like this side of the spectrum, you're like, you know, Andrew Tate, where it's like you don't really, who cares about your feelings? Just go ahead and do the hard work. Who the fuck cares? Don't let your emotions take control of you.
Yeah.
Don't show your emotions to others as well. Be completely hard, stern. And the other side of the spectrum, where I feel like a lot of guys are also residing, it's like the fact that you're too overly emotional, you're too, I guess, feminine, and you don't really end up getting much work done. You're kind of like a pushover, and you're not really seen as someone to look up to. And in my opinion, I think we should kind of, as guys, I feel like, in my opinion, we should kind of land somewhere in the middle. Definitely. Where it's like, of course, you should do the hard work and shit. You shouldn't fucking slack off, but then you should always have that emotional side to you, the vulnerable side.
Yeah.
Because if you're too much on the left side, your kids are gonna hate you. Like I've fucking experienced this myself. It's like you can do the hard work and stuff, but then like
Yeah.
there's gonna be resentment towards you at some point because you don't have that softness to you, right?
It's definitely in specific situations
Yeah.
as well. Like,
yeah. You should be able to know
I
how
think
to turn it
guys
off and on.
have to man up when it comes to asking girls out, and asking for that number, really pushing yourself into that kind of awkward situation. But then at the same time, when it works out, that vulnerability should also be a thing. Like, it shouldn't be so hardcore, but it shouldn't be all vulnerability as well. So there's definitely got to be a mix between how you go along with that.
Absolutely,
I would love to know, like, what are your thoughts on why are guys so nervous and just don't ask girls out? Why won't you come up to us in person and just, what's your number, babe?
I think. Well, guys, we all know why, right? We're just fucking scared. We're just pussies, right? That's what it boils down to. But like, why are we pussies? Well, fuck. It always comes down to not feeling like you're good enough. I feel like girls as well, I'm assuming, but I've grown up where it's like in a lonely household with the only girl that I've interacted was with my mom, basically, right? It was my mom. And I never really had that experience of female intimacy, but growing up in a very isolated manner. And I feel like a lot of guys grew up very isolated in this day and age now.
Yeah.
In this common environment with like technology and stuff and social media. It's made us very timid. It's made us very like we're just on social media, just looking at social media all day, and we think that becomes reality, right? When in reality it's a lot different.
Yeah, people are definitely trapped. Even just this century and this culture is just everyone's trapped in these phones and this online social media that it's so different to reality, and everyone thinks that, well, a lot of people think that is what life is supposed to look like, when it is so fake. Like, people only show the great aspects of life. There's not a lot of people that will show you the shitty times, the awkward times.
Yeah.
And so we all look at this and go, damn, why am I not like this person? Why can't I have that?
Yeah, I mean, guys just need to push through it and realize that you need to have more of that masculine energy, right? And I mean, the more, like, I guess, the harsher side of the spectrum of masculinity, and realize that, if you're not going to take action, then you're not going to get
100%.
You're not going to get results,
Yeah,
right?
it's all about effort, and I can honestly tell you that every girl would feel so amazing, fall head over heels for any guy that physically came up to her and was like, I think you're so beautiful. I would love to have your number.
Yeah,
and that's literally what us girls, I'm speaking very personally, we crave that. We crave guys that will just go out of their way to say that and to put themselves in that vulnerable spot. And I think that's what we really look for. And you get on your social media, you get on your Instagram and your TikTok and your Snapchat, and guys like, I think you're so beautiful, let me have your number. And we're like, oh, okay, thanks, that's really cute. But if you did that, okay. I think that shows it's not only like a... I can't even put that into words. It's a freaking good thing if you do that. And that's when it pushes more towards, like, one of the bigger questions that a lot of us girls get is, like, is it only based off looks? And I think that if you push yourself out of that boundary and really chuck yourself in that deep end and go for it and ask that girl out, we would be more inclined to go out with you because you went that way. Because you did that, you stepped outside of the box, Don't be like every other guy and message me on Snapchat. You see me in the gym, see me in the supermarket, dude. If you do that, I will 100%, like, I'll give you a literal chance if you could go out of your way to do that. And I hopefully am speaking for most girls on that note, that we crave that, we love that. If you did that, that makes us feel so good. And it also puts such a good spotlight on you for us to go, shit, he's different. He actually is a genuine person. What are your thoughts on that?
No,
How do you feel
I'm glad
about
that-
girls doing that?
What, approaching guys?
Yeah, I think that's also a thing that that in this day and age this type of stuff is not spoken about, and I feel like people do need to speak about that. Is it weird if a girl comes up to you?
No.
No?
I'd love that.
Yeah? Like that feeling of someone coming to you and being like, you know, I'd love your number, like, let's go out sometime, let's grab a coffee.
Yeah, of
You
course.
guys love that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm speaking for most guys here. It's like, if you had, like, you know, a really pretty girl come up to you, and of course we'd fucking like it, right? We're not that, like, what's the word? We're not that choosy? No, that's not the right word. I'm trying to think the right word, but anyways, yeah, we would definitely enjoy it. I think I'm speaking for most guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the same way that girls feel.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, and it's just because it's such an out of the box thing right now, where you don't get a lot of that from guys or from anyone. Girls tend to not do it. Guys tend to not do it. You know, I think if you really want to go for that person, then 100% do it in real life, dude. It's so genuine, and it actually shows you care, and that you want to put effort into it. And it not only does it, you know, get that foot in the door, but it also shows off the person that you are. And I think that's a really big thing for girls, is really deep diving into the personality of a guy. Like, you can look great and be a total asshole.
So looks on everything.
No, I mean, at least not for me. I think confidence is such a big thing. Girls love confident guys. We love people, not if you're full of yourself, but just confident to just be yourself. Just fully be yourself. And that's another thing that I wanted to bring here today, is that people in this... Dude, brain fart.
It's alright. Take your time. Breathe. Alright,
Yeah,
these guys are chill.
pudding.
These guys are chill.
Yeah, we're flowing here. I tend to see that a lot of people change to impress a person, you know?
Wait, explain that more.
In terms of, okay, let's just put it into, this guy plays football. He loves football inside and out, so I'm going to go research it so I can talk to him about it and pretend that I love football too. And I think I see that quite a bit, people changing themselves. Like, I feel like you have to be really true to yourself, and, you know, people have to like you for you, dude. If you are changing yourself for some guy or some chick to like you, then
Oh, yeah.
it's just not a thing. And further down the road, if you guys ever do get into a relationship, you're going to be like, I've changed myself for this person, and now I have to keep it up.
Especially, like, if it's, like, I don't know, like a few months into the relationship, and then it's like you can't even be bothered, like, impressing them anymore, so you kind of reveal your true colors, and at that point, the relationship,
Exactly.
And at that point, the relationship's kind of cooked, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think just show your true self, your true colors from the start. Just be yourself. People have to love you for you. You shouldn't have to change anything to impress anyone, you know? Even if when it comes down to addictions, I see that quite a bit with people trying to hide that, you know, some guy goes out with some healthy guru gym girl, and he's like, well, I smoke every day, and I can't tell this chick, and, you know, she finds out 5 months later, and it's like, most people are so much better if you just lay everything out on the table at the start.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll add on that point. When you said it's good to just be yourself, that is really good advice. I feel like a lot of people, a lot of guys right now, their current self is like, okay, I play video games all day, I watch porn, I eat junk food, I don't go to the gym, I do the bad habits. That's like their self. Obviously, you know, if you want to change, you need to change that, right? Like, this depends from person to person, but I think your core self needs to be the same, like who you are
100%.
on the inside.
Yeah, it comes down to values and morals.
Yeah, your values and your morals. I think even if that's like a more accentuated version, that you're kind of showing to the girl, as long as the core key is the same, as long as you don't change who you are on the inside, right?
Yeah. If you're gonna change for yourself. Don't change for anyone else.
Yeah, that's
think
great.
that's-
Yeah. So what do you think are the most attractive traits a guy can have?
Ooh.
If we're gonna rank it from like fucking, A tier to F tier. A tier
It
to F
really
tier.
comes down to the person, honestly.
Okay,
It really does. I
yeah.
can't speak for all girls because we are all very different
Yeah, fair enough.
in
Yeah.
what we value. Some people, it's faith. Some people, it's looks. Some people, it's personality.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, it really varies on the person. I mean, for me, personality is such a big thing.
Yeah.
I'm an absolute yapper, and I honestly could sit and talk for hours, and if the person that I'm seeing can't sit and talk for hours and, have a good talk, then I'm not down for that. But some girls, they're very, very quiet, they want someone to chill with, and some people want someone to go do activities with, and it really, really does vary between person to person. Looks can play a role in terms of, like, attractiveness and, where it kind of goes down that sexual pathway. In my experience, I've gone out with guys which I purely just love for looks. I think they're so hot. I just want to spend, like, every minute with them in terms of they just look so great. And then there's other guys don't look as great as the guys I've been out with, but personality was such a big thing, and I could sit and yap to them for hours, and they were so enjoyable to be around. So I don't know. I think
You answered the question. Good.
Yeah, it's just a variable between person to person. What do you think guys think about? I think from a girl's perspective, I thought that looks were a very big thing for guys. And I'm not sure if you guys deep dive into personality as much. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think us guys, we're... See, it's funny because I would say we're, like, less forgiving than girls in terms of looks.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's been skewed a little bit, right, these days. I feel like online, guys are kind of going for whatever, like, they can get their hands on. For me personally, looks do matter, but personality matters a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wouldn't... It's the same thing as what you said, basically. My killer traits would be, like, caringness, humor, similar humor.
Definitely. I love someone that can have a good laugh.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, caringness, just being able to just, like, be for you there. Be for you there. Yeah. Be for you there, just taking care of you. Playful, just, like, super... Just fun to be around, Personality. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that complicated. Just, like, as long as you click, right? And as long as you're willing to live with your, the negative traits that come with... Because I feel like everyone has negative traits, right?
That's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah. So as long as you're willing to live with those negative traits and you do like the positive traits of the other person, might as well wife her up.
Yeah, I 100% agree on that, and I've experienced this a lot. And from other people that I've spoken to, is from my perspective and a couple other people's perspective, is that you have to be okay to take on this baggage that other people have. Everyone's got some sort of underlying thing, and negative traits and things like that. And if I get into if I'm 3 months down in your relationship and you're telling me that you don't like something that I told you I bring along with me at the start of the relationship, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why did you waste those 3 months? Yeah, what do you think about guys telling girls kind of the deeper stuff? I tend to not hear it too much from guys. It's all being very surface level. It may just be the people that I've spoken to, but from my experience, it never really goes deeper than what you kind of see.
Deeper topics?
Yeah.
Just vulnerability?
Yeah, 100%.
Why do guys not being vulnerable? honestly, I don't know. I can't answer that because I love being vulnerable. I can't answer that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I can't answer for other guys. Like I've always grown up being someone who was very vulnerable. I don't know if you watch my videos. I'm pretty fucking vulnerable in my videos, right? Like, and it's been a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the cursed aspect of it is the fact that you open up your mind to others to try to connect to other people because you're vulnerable,
100%.
and that leads you to getting hurt a lot. And I got hurt a lot, but it's also a blessing because you feel things, right? You're vulnerable. You connect with others when you
100%.
find that. And I'm not too sure. I guess maybe they're like trying to put on a hard face or something. I'm really not sure. I love being vulnerable. That's me.
Yeah.
Obviously not too vulnerable to the point where I'm a complete pushover, but you know.
Definitely, I think that's what relationships are missing, especially from the guy, is more of that emotional connection. And yeah, same thing again, to really see that vulnerability, you know. As people say all the time, when do you see a guy cry?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I feel like I was saying before, it's like on the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
There's too many guys on one side versus the other side right now.
100%.
It's like the guys who are crying, you don't even want to give them time because that's all they're doing with their day. Like, come on, that's like too much at that point if they're not actually doing anything. But if you can cry and you can work hard, show your girlfriend or
Not even,
your partner.
you don't even have to cry, but like...
Yeah, you don't have to cry. That's what I'm just using as an example, but like...
just like opening up and like...
Yeah.
You know, everyone has a shit day sometimes, and everyone has,
Yes, yeah.
stuff that goes on in their life, and to withhold it from your partner is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, and I think a lot of guys would actually benefit, you know, even though it's tough to be able to talk about half the shit that people go through.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would be able to benefit from that. And it's not until after they try they will know that it does.
Yeah, you know what, I think a lot of guys are scared to that, like, if they open up and be vulnerable and be too vulnerable, they're scared that maybe the girl might, you know, fall out of love, like, she's not going to respect me anymore, she's going to go for another guy now, someone who's more stern, who's more, like, stoic than me, because I'm too much of a crybaby. I feel like that's what a lot of guys probably think. Yeah.
That's a very interesting point. I obviously can't speak for everyone, but personally, I would love if a guy like fully opened up. You know, it shows trust.
Yeah.
And it shows that you care and that you actually like feel comfortable talking or expressing your feelings to that person. Do you think it's because like guys don't like to be vulnerable based off their upbringing? Do you think that it plays a really big role in how
Absolutely,
like what your dad was like, what your mum were like, what your parents were like, what you saw like even your older siblings were like? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think that's all that matters. I think that's pretty much like 90% of the case. You know, if you showed vulnerability to your parents and they kind of like, you know, didn't like that, they kind of treated you badly for showing vulnerability, then it's like you might not want to show that to your partner.
Yeah.
Type of thing. But honestly, I think if I'm speaking for most guys here, all guys really want at the end of the day for a girl is just like to have like a cute girlfriend who would like, if like, let's say you're having like a shit day, you're absolutely like doing horribly, right? All we really want is like for a girl to kind of just hug us and say like everything's gonna be okay, you still have me, you know.
Yeah.
We're all gonna be fine. Comment down below if that's exactly what you want out of a girl, like, you know.
100%.
I'm pretty sure that if we're boiling it down to just basics, that's kind of what we want.
Definitely. Girls can be a lot better at expressing what we want. You know, it also comes with hormones and, you know, cycle. And how we express that is a big thing. I think you guys as guys really adapt to that really well because we can openly say, you know, I feel like shit today. I feel great today, you know? And guys tend to not as much. And I think that's why you don't get too much out of girls, in terms of, like, things that you guys want as well. And relationships are very two-sided ways. And it only works if both people are getting what they want.
Yeah. When you said, you know, girls kind of have like their ups and downs, right? This day I'm feeling like shit, this day I'm feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like us guys have that all the time. Like, genuinely. Personally, for me, I'm really good at hiding it.
I wish you guys would express it. I wish you guys would tell us.
It's a benefit at times, but it's a curse at times, right? Because oftentimes I'm like in my room just kind of like feeling really lonely, you know, not really wanting to express it. Because I feel like the world's gonna treat me like shit, I guess.
No one has to know other than your partner.
Yeah.
If your girlfriend walked through the door and you were sitting there and you were like, babe, I feel like shit, and she came over and gave you a massive hug and she's like, let's just go watch a movie and I'll make you food.
Yeah.
Instead of her walking through the door, you being quiet and saying nothing, and then her rambling to you about all of her problems, and you're sitting there like, I have problems too.
Yeah.
What one do you prefer?
Of course, number 2, right? Of course. But if I'm speaking for most guys here, like all of us, or most of us are like single, right? And we haven't even got to that point of having a girlfriend. And the thing is, like, if you're just gonna be down all day, then that reduces your chances of even finding a good girl, because like you got to be at your tip-top shape like every hour of the day. But at least try to be, right? Garbage man, fucking making a lot of noise. Because oftentimes we're just gonna be so down, like things are just not gonna be going our way, and then we're just gonna show that to the world, and then obviously you're only gonna attract what you give out, and then that makes it extremely hard to even find girls, because it's like you're just anxious all the time and you don't even want to approach girls, and then it's like a fucking downwards trajectory, and then you start blaming the girls and you start blaming other things, and then it's just absolutely it goes to shit, right? I feel like you got to push through the pain sometimes, especially if you're not, you know, if you're not in a relationship, because then you got to show your best, right? Yeah, I mean, there's no one to be vulnerable to if you fucking not in a if you're not in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully you've got people though.
I'd definitely like to add on to the looking for a girlfriend. This is 100% personal experience, but the connections that I've made, the best connections that I've made, and the ones that tend to lead to relationships are ones that I have not looked for. If you live your life, focus on yourself, it will plop right into your hand. It will come when it is the utmost not expected. If you go looking for it, you sometimes can get more desperate, and those values that you want in your girlfriend or in a partner goes lower and lower because you want that so bad. But if you focus on you do you, people come along in and out of your life so many times.
Yeah.
And for me, the connections I've made the most are the ones that I have never in my life thought I would ever come across, you know?
Yeah.
Don't look for it. Let it come to you. Opportunities will come. It's inevitable. They will come across, you know? So
I agree. One thing I'll add though, for us guys, I agree absolutely everything you said about working on yourself. Let opportunities come to you, you know, build your garden, whatever the fuck, right? Sow your garden. But you should also approach women, you know, make the opportunities, right? We're not saying, well, at least I'm not saying that.
I think it's both.
Yeah, do both. Yeah, work on yourself and make sure to approach girls, because if you're just working on yourself, then it's like you're not gonna have the experience in the first place. You might as well get experience with girls, get better with talking to girls. You know, you can possibly find your girlfriend tomorrow. Who the fuck knows, right? Whilst also working on yourself, becoming a better person.
Opportunities will definitely come to you, and you have to jump on those opportunities.
Yeah.
I think going out of your way to look for those is something that that could be reduced, and I
Yeah.
think that letting the opportunities come right across, and you have to get on that yourself, especially as guys, because girls tend to not ask guys out too much, but especially as
Exactly.
guys, just jump on it, jump on that opportunity, really deep dive, and you never know what will happen. And if you
Exactly,
don't
yeah.
try, then it's definitely not going to happen if you don't try.
Yes, this is what I'm trying to fucking say.
Yeah.
Literally, like, if you don't try, you never know, right? She could be
100%.
your girlfriend. You never know. You never know. And then they're gonna be like, oh, I'm too ugly. Oh, I'm too this. Blah blah blah. My camera's about to die, so fuck it, bro. We'll just keep we'll just keep going until the camera
How
dies.
do you know when it's going to die?
It's got like the thing there.
Oh.
We're just gonna keep going until the camera dies, right? And then
Yeah.
we'll just cut the video.
It'll
Okay.
save, right?
No, well, I mean it will save, but like the video will cut. But yeah, so the video's gonna end any minute now, but we're just gonna keep yapping.
We're just going to keep going. Oh, yeah, this is something that I did want to touch base on, just a quick thing, is that why when women have problems, this has been in a relationship, why when girls start to have, personal problems, why do guys run away from that?